Hello, hockey hysterics. Dion Phaneuf and Nate Thompson have been traded to the Los Angeles Kings for Marian Gaborik and Nick Shore. Dion Phaneuf, he was a part of the Toronto Maple Leafs for a time before he got traded to the Ottawa Senators. It's a big deal for the Toronto Maple Leafs fans and for Ottawa Senators fans. Back then, it looked like a great deal for Ottawa, getting an experienced captain, getting an experienced player for a potential Stanley Cup run. They made it pretty far. They almost made the Stanley Cup Finals, but this year it's kind of turned on its head. Especially going back to the expansion draft, Dion Phaneuf decided not to waive his no-trade clause. This made a lot of Senators fans upset because they wanted to keep Marc Methot to pair with Erik Karlsson. So in the end, Marc Methot had to leave to go to the expansion, and Dion Phaneuf stayed with a cap hit of $7 million. Now let's look at this deal. So looking at the stats, Nick Shore has 4 goals, 11 assists, and 15 points in 50 games this year. For a fourth liner, I mean, that's good. Again, he's nothing spectacular, but he would be a great person to have on a fourth line. Center is always a great position to have. A right-handed shot, so you kind of get the tourist back without the skill. Marian Gaborik, on the other hand, has 8 goals and 8 assists for 16 points in 31 games this year. He's a little bit injury prone, but again, Ottawa is not expecting him to stay so long for the team that it's going to make such an impact for the future. I don't think they are, but who knows what they choose. But I can't imagine that Gaborik is going to be staying on the team for an extended amount of time. So Dion Phaneuf this year has 4 goals, 13 assists, and 17 points in 54 games. I'm recording this after he got his first goal as an LA King. So it can be promising for the Los Angeles Kings to go further. But again, he's more of a defensive defenseman. He might want to boost up the plus-minus from a -9 to maybe closer to 0 or something like that. But with a team like Los Angeles, when you have Jonathan Quick behind you, and you have a Drew Doughty on your team, I don't think that his numbers will start to decline. I think they might actually increase. And Nate Thompson, he's a fourth liner, 4 goals, 7 assists, and 11 points in 44 games. The interesting fact about him is that he's an even player. So he's a grinder type player that might be able to get some penalty kill for you, because Ottawa's not been a great team. So if you're hitting even with the plus-minus, I know it can be deceiving. That's still relatively decent. So we'll see how Los Angeles utilizes him. He knows how to play in the Western Conference. It's very much of a grindy type conference than the Eastern is. So we'll see how this impacts the team. I can't imagine it's going to be too impactful, but it adds depth to a team. And for a good NHL team, you need depth. It's been very clear that teams like Pittsburgh, Los Angeles, Boston, these Cup winner teams, Chicago, had depth. So Nate Thompson's someone you want in your team if you want to go further in the playoffs and win another cup. Ottawa wanted to start fresh. They're not having a great year this year. No one's really performed to the potential. Everyone is subpar. So a lot of names have been thrown around for Ottawa. Hoffman being traded, Karlsson being traded, new relocation. It's just been a very messy year for the Senators in general. The owner pipes up when he shouldn't, and I think he's the worst owner in the NHL because he always talks when he shouldn't. You don't hear him talking now because this is what's supposed to happen, but as soon as something wrong happens to the team, he makes an unreasonable statement like a relocation of a team, or this team is just not good enough and players are going to be traded, or whatever he might say. He does not help out this team, and I think he's just the worst. Anyways, getting back to the trade. Dion Phaneuf, I think for the LA Kings, he's going to fit in very nicely there. You have Drew Doughty, who's very high in skill, a very good, solid defenseman, stay-at-home defensive defenseman, but can also move the play forward. Dion Phaneuf, he's neutral. He's two-way, but he hasn't excelled in either the offensive end and definitely not in the defensive end. He's a big guy, but he's slow. And that's his problem. He's always had that problem in the NHL. Nate Thompson joined the team in the summer. He used to play for the Anaheim Ducks, and I thought he was going to have a better year this year. A kind of a grindy type player, but he's been unrecognizable to the team. So it wasn't a huge departure for him to go to Los Angeles. He might actually do better in the West Coast than he did in the East. He might be that type of player. So what do you guys think of this video? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to smash that like button if you enjoy the video. Okay guys, have a great day.